I never imagined a day would come when my own son would be the one to lock me away. The sound of that door slamming shut still hums through my bones. One moment, my husband and I were making our way down to the basement, following a lie about a pipe leaking. The next, the door crashed closed above us, sealed from the outside. I heard her first, my daughter-in-law's hurried, triumphant steps. Then my sons followed, slower but carrying the same cold intent. I went stiff. My chest tightened, but my husband placed a firm hand on my arm and whispered, "Stay quiet. They don't know what's hidden back here." His tone wasn't fearful. It was steady, prepared, and that scared me more than the lock itself. A mother's memories are strange things. I can still picture my son's first steps, his little cries after scraping a knee, and then the day he married her, the woman who smiled too brightly, clung too tightly, and watched me like I was already marked for removal. I tried to push away the feeling, tried to tell myself that love softens rough hearts. They lived with us for years, rent-free, worry-free. But comfort turned into expectation. Expectation thickened into bitterness. And soon, bitterness was shaping plans. I was the first to notice. The secret calls, files vanishing from drawers, my husband's prescriptions reordered without us requesting it, doors abruptly falling silent when I approached. Something was shifting, being quietly rearranged. Then I heard her laughing one day. She thinks the house is hers. Once they're out, we take everything. Out, not dead, not gone, just removed. That word tasted like venom on my tongue. The final blow landed when I saw the envelope in his hands. My husband's name crossed out. A fresh power of attorney printed, already signed by my son. He didn't even bother to hide it. "Dad's getting old," he said. "You too. We're just helping." Helping. By stripping us of our home, our authority, our dignity, while we were still breathing. I didn't scream or argue. I simply watched him walk away and understood something painful. My son hadn't been captured by his wife. He'd been claimed by something uglier. Greed. Quiet, patient, always hungry. That night, I told my husband everything I'd pieced together. He didn't flinch. He didn't look shocked. He just looked ready. "I knew this day would come," he said, almost gently. And he said no more. But I recognized the look in his eyes of a man who had been preparing for betrayal long before it arrived. So we played the part they expected, frail, slow, unaware. We allowed them to handle the money, the documents, the decisions. We let them rise higher and higher on their own arrogance. Because people who think they've already won forget to watch their step. When their car finally pulled away and silence settled, my husband knelt by the far wall. His fingers traced a single uneven brick, one he had checked countless times, without me ever noticing. He pushed. It shifted. Behind it lay a metal lockbox, dusty but untouched. Inside were the original property papers, the real will bank accounts with only our names, and a small recorder filled with weeks of whispered conversations. Every scheming word they had spoken. My husband looked at me calmly. For nearly 40 years, I've been preparing in case someone tried to take everything we built. I just never thought it would be our own boy. My heart broke, but something inside me hardened. We climbed out through the maintenance hatch they didn't know existed. By morning, our lawyer had the evidence. The authorities had the documents. And our son had no idea the ground beneath him was already crumbling. That evening, they strolled into the living room rehearsed and confident, until they saw us sitting where they usually sat. My daughter-in-law went pale. My son's breath faltered. My husband slid the recorder across the table. It was already playing. Their own voices filled the room, discussing the house, the signatures, the plans to push us out for good. My son whispered, Where did you get this?" I held his gaze, steady and cold. "From behind the wall you locked us with." When the sirens approached, she tried to escape. My son didn't run, but he couldn't meet my eyes either. He stared at the floor as the cuffs closed around his wrists, finally understanding the truth. No one replaced him. He replaced himself with something far worse. The house feels quiet now. A heavy quiet, but a peaceful one. My husband sits beside me, his warm hand resting on mine. "We didn't lose a son," he murmured. "We just finally saw who he chose to become. Maybe he's right. Maybe the deeper wound isn't what they try to take from us, but what my son allowed himself to become. Justice isn't sweet or bitter. It's simply clean." And as I shut the basement door one last time, the darkness behind it feels different. I whisper into the stillness. He finally learned who took his place, and it wasn't another man. It was the truth.